What is up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency and blockchain education. If you guys are brand new here, we do a small little giveaway at the beginning of every single episode. Today's winner is Rigobert. Thanks so much for commenting on the previous video, Rigobert. If you want a chance to win on the next video, comment with your Wax wallet address to win an NFT and be subscribed. Now, on this episode, I'm going to be going over Nftfi. Now, if you guys have seen in the past, I've talked about BlockFi and some of these collateralized loan platforms, which effectively means you put up an asset and borrow against it. And this is actually a marketplace angle where you're able to put up an asset and people can make offers to pull out a loan against your asset. So a peer-to-peer marketplace. And given my background in peer-to-peer lending, and marketplace lending was what it was formerly called, I'm really excited about this really cracking open a lot of value for NFT collectors. This isn't a sponsored review or anything like that. I'm just really fascinated by collateralized loans, given my background in lending. And I'm really interested in the fact that we are going to be able to unlock a ton of value in the NFT space for people that have, let's say, $10 million locked up in these various different pieces of crypto artwork, as well as gaming NFTs. It's really important to provide these types of financial instruments to people all over the world, especially through something like DeFi, which is kind of how Nftfi is operating, because you sync your MetaMask wallet. They're using wrapped ETH as well as DAI, the stablecoin, to perform the different transactions. I actually put one in for an Axie in this video just to show you guys exactly how the platform works. It's really pretty straightforward, and shout out to Strawberry Sith for DMing me and talking to me about this platform. I'm really excited for what they're building. And I'm really interested in the fact that this is providing people that have been holding these NFTs with some upside that doesn't involve selling the asset. Numbers I'm going to be going over in this APR wise sound a little wild: 100%, 500%, 2000%, things like that. And that could set off some red flags for you, which is good. It's important to be very skeptical on things. But when it comes to these types of short-term loans, can have high APRs. It's a very common aspect to lending and borrowing. So these types of APRs can be a little bit wonky and a little bit wild right out of the gate to mainly incentivize various different types of activity. And it's open-ended because this is peer-to-peer. These aren't fixed rates provided by Nftfi. These are rates that are being offered by the lender and the borrower to each other, which I think is a beautiful thing. So it's very important to know that coming into this video, because these numbers are pretty wild, as you're going to see when I go through and put an offer in for an Axie that's over 100% APR for the person that's holding that Axie Infinity. It's just very important to know that. Before we get into the demo of me going through and putting in an offer to borrow an Axie Infinity, I wanted to mention that the size of the collateralized loan market, or CLO market, is $693 billion in the time that I'm filming this, or at the time I'm filming this, which is quite a lot of money. It's almost $1 trillion. And I think that when we're talking about collateralized loans in the crypto space, it is a nascent industry, very, very early on. Even with things like BlockFi that are raising millions and millions of dollars, and people are on there earning interest, parking their Bitcoin, it's very important to know with centralized platforms like that, you're going to run into counterparty risk. Like, you are absorbing that risk by sending your crypto assets to a platform like that. And I am a fan of BlockFi and Celsius and some of these other platforms, but ultimately there is a risk with putting the asset on a platform like that. So what I was really excited about when it came to Nftfi was the fact that this is, in a way, decentralized, where the Nftfi marketplace is bringing people together, but they're two MetaMask wallets speaking to each other. Very similar to OpenSea, where you have people syncing their MetaMask and they're transacting between each other. This is merely providing an interface for those two people to interact, put offers, and borrow and lend. So it's really cool to see this type of decentralized concept coming to a almost $1 trillion market. I think that there's a lot of potential over the next decade for unlocking a lot of this NFT value. When you have people spending $4 or $5 million on CryptoPunks right now, that, you know, maybe they do want to unlock some value there with BlockFi and Celsius and things like that. That's not a taxable event. whereas I'm not seeing much research around what happens when you're lending and borrowing using a MetaMask wallet in terms of tax liability. Not 100% sure there, so I'm not going to talk too much about that because this is definitely not financial advice, but I do know that that is one of the perks to using a centralized platform currently. That could change over the next couple of years, but I do like the idea that when you're disrupting a almost $700 billion market, you're using a decentralized approach to start. With all that being said, now that we know the market size of collateralized loans, that this is a decentralized approach where it is these MetaMask wallets speaking to each other, putting offers in, and very short loan duration times and high APRs. I am ready to jump in and do this loan offer against this Axie Infinity. So you guys get a chance to see exactly what this looks like in action. And I'm excited to be playing around with a platform like this so early on. And it is actually a lot smoother than I was anticipating. So without further ado, let's jump into my actual demo of putting an offer in for an Axie. So once you land on the Nftfi dashboard, you can see that they have a couple of sections here. They have your lend, your borrow, your account, statistics, and then the community tab. So what you'll see here is all the different categories on your left-hand side. You have your Axie Infinities, your Ethereum name service, which are like your domain names. You have Unstoppable Domains. You have Gods Unchained, Rarible, CryptoKitties. Also, you can see their founder cat at 18.9 ETH. And there are a lot of these are under loan currently. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to go to Axie, and I'm actually going to put in an offer to take out a loan on one of these Axies. So we're going to click on the Axie Infinity category here, and you can see all these Axies that are available. I think I am going to go with one that doesn't have an offer, so you can see what that looks like. But these are a couple here that are highlighted in blue that actually have loans on them. So you can see this one has a loan from an address. It's under 7-day duration. The loan is for 40 DAI and the repayment is 41 DAI. So in 7 days, this person can make $1, and that's on top of their asset, which is 130% APR. I do find it pretty funny that they are calculating these APRs and they're just wild sounding up front. But we are dealing with very small figures here. On some of the other ones like Hashmass and CryptoKitties, you're dealing with higher numbers. So I'm not going to put an offer on that one because it has an offer. I want to put an offer on one that isn't under offer right now. So we're going to go ahead and go to this Axie here. It looks like a little Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and say 0.01 wrapped ETH, and the loan value, let's say the repayment value for this is going to be 0.15. Over 7 days, that's 2,607% APR. Whereas if that's over 90 days, that lowers down to 203%. Now, how badly do I want this Axie? That kind of determines if I want to add a little bit more juice so that they accept the offer to lend this NFT out to me. And I can use this, with Axie because it's a game. I love that use case where it's a mutually beneficial relationship between lender and borrower, and this is such a cool concept. Let's go ahead and lower that down. Let's do 30 days at the repayment of 0.011 wrapped ETH, and then the loan value is 0.01 wrapped ETH. As you can see here, I'm going to make the offer for 0.01 wrapped ETH for this Axie to borrow. And it is a repayment value of 0.011 ETH, wrapped ETH, and then it's a duration of 30 days, which is 122% APR extrapolated out for this user. Let's go ahead and make this offer. Sign offer. It's going to pull up our MetaMask, and I'm going to go ahead and sign it. And let's see what happens here. So we can close the window, and there's my offer. You can see that it came in. Duration of 30 days, loan value is 0.01 wrapped ETH, and repayment is 0.011 wrapped ETH. So that is it for my overview of Nftfi. Overall, I'm really impressed at this team and what they've built. I think that it's cool to be unlocking a lot of these really, really valuable NFTs out there that have had a lot of trading volume behind them. I'm really interested to see what happens with CryptoPunks. There is one thing I've learned from a lot of high net worths that I know and respect and really talk to on a regular basis and try to learn from, is that borrowing against assets is better than selling them, especially assets that have a high potential for appreciation, which in this case, these all do have a very high percentage chance that they're going to go up even more given the hype around the space. So it makes sense to really borrow against it instead of liquidating it. And platforms like this, Nftfi, are in a good position to be able to really cater to people in a decentralized way, which I think this space really appreciates, including myself as a self-custody advocate. Love it, and love where their heads are at in terms of what they've developed so far. So that is it for my overview of how they have gone about this quick demo. They're probably going to be iterating, as you know, this is very early on, so the interface may not look the same, but the message is still going to be the same whenever you're watching this. So I'm going to be leaving the link in the description below so you guys can check out Nftfi, play around with it, have some fun. There's very, very interesting NFTs available on there right now. A lot of artwork, a lot of cool things that people are playing around with and doing a little bit of price discovery in terms of what it's going to be worth in terms of lending and borrowing. So very exciting to see this. That is it. Slap a like if you guys like this type of video, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Hack Crypto.